good, y'all? It's your boy Archie the Great back with another video. Today, we are going to be going over another defensive tips video in our series. This is going to be part 2 and 3, and we're going to be covering some tips to help you with your icon switching, identifying rotations, and then eventually baiting your opponent into turnovers. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. If it helps you out, definitely leave a like. We got some good content for you guys today. Make sure you go check out part 1 just to catch up on some of the things we've already talked about. And keep in mind, when you're watching this video, the tips are going to start escalating from beginner to advanced. So when we start talking about the first couple tips, it's going to be little beginner tips. And then as we go forward in the video, they're going to get more advanced. But real quick, just to show you what my record was for Unlimited this month or this past season, I was 143-8. I think I had like 5 disconnects. I probably lost 3 times. Not that it matters, but the point of it is that defense is what wins a lot of these games against, whether it's a 6.5 skill opponent or whether it's somebody that's real competitive. Defense and then having a consistent offense is going to help win these games. So let's get into what you're going to need to do and some of the things you're going to have to know to make sure you're successful with this tip. All right, just like every other video, I like to give you guys some kind of lineup suggestions and some kind of, staple of what kind of badges you should be looking for, what kind of stats you should be looking for when you're kind of running this kind of defense. So all free cards up here once again. We got Baron Davis, Jaylen Brown, Andre Iguodala, Aaron Gordon, and Wayne Embry. All cards that can be acquired for free or winning and grinding in the game. So not cards that you have to go spend a bunch of MT on. You can have a good defensive team by just grinding the game. So let's look at some of Andre Iguodala's stats and some of the things that you're going to have to make sure you have with some of your players to ensure success. We're not going to be worried about offense too much here. We're looking right here. Steal, 88. Perimeter defense, 95. Interior defense is decent, but we're looking at the speed and acceleration too. 91 and 91. You want to be able to move quickly around the court when you're switching. And then we got the lateral quickness at 96. So when you're playing on-ball defense, being able to slide quickly. We got a 90 pass perception so that when we're in the passing lanes, we're able to get those steals. Even if we're not controlling the player, he might be able to get those steals. Moving on to the badges. Obviously, the more defensive badges you have, the better. But one of the key ones we're looking for here is Interceptor. I love that badge to be able to get steals out of the passing lanes. But Heart Crusher and Intimidator are also great badges to have on your players because you want them to be able to, make the opponent cold and make them miss shots. Ankle braces is also good so that you're not going to get crossover. And of course, we got clamps and stuff like that. Then you want your center and power forward to have some kind of speed on the court. Now let's look at some of the rules and keys for success. Tip number 1, go watch the first video. Some of the things we went over: not giving up threes, understanding your matchups, knowing when to rotate. All those things were covered in the first video, so make sure you go watch that video. Second thing, must master your icons. You got to know who's on the court, what their icons are. The shooting guard is circle, your power forward is triangle. If you're on PS4, if you're on Xbox, you got your different maps for buttons. Next, you gotta have anticipation. You gotta be able to anticipate what your opponent's gonna do next or identify weakness on the court and then take chances out there in trying to get in steals and things like that, which we'll cover as we get there. And then you gotta understand court spacing and understand when to play on ball versus off ball. There are times to play on ball and there's times to play off ball. You must understand this. You cannot stay on ball the entire time against somebody that runs a certain style of offense and ensure you're going to have success. That is not going to happen. Make sure you guys remember each of these tips as we move forward in the video. All right, like I said, we're going to start off slow here. This first tip is just pretty much rotating and getting to the right spot. So right here, I get myself out of position. I went the wrong way. I make sure that I'm going to cover my weakness, which is the middle of the court now. I'm hitting the icon button. I'm going to switch to circle, which is Julius Erving. And then I'm going to slide over to the middle to cut off the driving lane to make sure that they can't get to where they want to go. And now we're back in the regular defense. And now that's just a subtle adjustment, but there's so many people that you play against that won't even make that switch, and then you'll be able to get an easy dunk. So you would have been able to score much easier. Now this guy actually still scored here, but I stopped him from scoring just so easy, the way that he really wanted to score. But that's pretty basic. So let's move on to the next one. All right, in this play, we're defending Giannis in transition, and for some reason, Shaq picked him up. As you can see, the arrow is pointed towards Giannis. I went over how to switch this in one of my previous videos this year. I will leave the link in the description. But all I'm going to do right here is I'm going to switch to AK. I'm going to cut the drive off, and I'm holding X, and now AK is going to defend Giannis, and I'm going to run out with Shaq to defend Jason Richardson on the perimeter. I just wanted to stop Giannis's drive. We were able to do that now right here. Jason Richardson is going to be able to drive by Shaq very easily. I noticed that, I identified the weakness, and now I'm gonna help over with Dwayne Wade, make him kick it back out. Now we get a nice block, creating a fast break opportunity for Dwayne Wade. Nice behind the back moving. Then we get the nasty dunk all over Scottie Pippen. He is down bad right now. Gets up, chasing me up the court. But that all happened just because of good defensive rotation and a good closeout. So let's move on to the next tip. All right, this play is gonna be pick and roll based. We already went over how I like to defend the pick and roll in the last video. So right here, we go to hit our hard hedge. And as you can see, Giannis now has a clear path to the basket. Now, I rotate from different places each time, depending on what I want to do in the game. Sometimes I'll rotate from the corner, sometimes from the wing. All depends on what my opponent is doing. I like to switch it up just so that they don't try to anticipate what I'm going to do. So right here, we actually choose to rotate with Shaq. As soon as he commits to the pass, I rotate over to Shaq, sprint into the paint, and I get the block due to that acceleration in my center, and now we're off to the races. All right, so we're building up now. We're starting to move from a little bit beginner. Now we're getting more to intermediate and advanced. We're gonna get some more rotations going. Once again, this is gonna be a pick and roll situation. We already talked about this stuff in the last video. Make sure you go check that out. So we're on ball here, and we're not even gonna talk about this steal that 2K should have gave me, but that's all good. We go to hit our hard hedge with Anthony Davis, and right here now, the middle of the court has a weakness. As you can see, I've already switched to Grant Hill, and I'm going to play the middle. I cover the middle of the court, and now we have a secondary rotation we got to make sure we're watching is the corner. I'm already in the passing lane with Anthony Davis, and now I'm headed over, and I'm able to cover the corner, and we force a shot clock situation where he has to put up a shot. He has to throw something up, forcing it, enabling us to get a rebound and another possession. And obviously, the more possessions you get in basketball, the better your team is going to be. The more efficient your offense can be, you're able to score more points. Anyway, once again, we're pressuring the ball. We see another pick and roll situation. We hedge over, we cover the middle, all because of the switching, the rotating, and just the basics that we talked about in the beginning. All right, so this is gonna be one of the last ones in the basic rotating. Then we're gonna move on to baiting and how to get steals out of this. So this play right here, this dude was using KD, and KD in 2K is a beast. So I like to give him a lot of attention. So right here, I see that he got in front of me. So I actually got a little risky. I could have gave up a bucket, but we didn't. We switch over to Julius Erving so we can help cut this driving lane off. And then as soon as I know that he sees Jamal Crawford wide open, I'm just going to switch over to Stephen Curry. We get right out to Jamal Crawford once the pass gets there, and Julius Erving gets back at the same time. And then we have a nice double team situation. He has to kick it out. Now we're back in our regular defense. I even hedge over with Zion real quick to stop the drive with Cam Reddish. And then right here, we see that Dwight Howard is going for the alley-oop, so we even switch over to Zion, stopping that, giving ourselves yet another possession. But now let's move on to the advanced tip. We're gonna be talking about baiting and how to get creative. Everything we just talked about, everything we just used, now we're gonna intentionally do it. We're gonna create weaknesses in our defense, intentionally baiting our opponent into thinking something is open, and then we're going to take it away. But you have to be able to switch fast. You have to be able to rotate. That's why we cover rotations first. So we're also gonna start off real quick, real slow with baiting, then we're gonna get more advanced as we go with it. So let's jump into the first play. So let's put all the rotation stuff together and let's talk about how to turn it into baiting. So right here, we are in a press against one of our opponents, shading him up the court, making sure he doesn't have it easy. We switch right here to Eddie Jones to cut off the driving lane, and now we created a weakness for ourselves. There's two players up the court, but I did it purposely. Now I can play both of them with Paul George. I switch to Paul George and I stay in between the ball. As soon as he tries to go make that pass to the pretend open player, now we get the steal. We're off to the races, and we have a fast break opportunity to get ourselves an open three. All right, now that was decent, a little beginner, still a little beginner, but let's make it a little bit more spicy. We're still in our press. I start off pressing up the ball with Dwayne Wade, making it tough for him to bring up the court. Now I switch over to Anthony Davis to go play the ball, but also create a weakness or an opening. Who is he gonna think is open right now? Artis Gilmore. I'm gonna switch over to Scottie Pippen just like a hawk. But notice how I didn't fully commit until I knew he was going to pass the ball. We're playing free safety out there, looking like Ed Reed. Easy steal, which turned into easy fast break points. Now let's get into the next one. Same thing, we're pressing up. This time we're gonna pretend like we're going to trap with Steph Curry. As soon as we see our boy think somebody's open, he picks the ball up. We switch to Dr. J, and check out how quick we get into that passing lane. That is a nice rotation, another nice steal, another nice dunk, and another opponent that was baited. All right, now let's get a little bit more advanced on this play. As you can see right here, I was beat to the middle, so I have to make sure I get back and cover the middle of the court so that he doesn't get an easy basket. I switch to Kyrie and I go to take that assignment, stop him at the basket, but my job is not done. The person that I came from is now wide open. He's a three-point shooter. I got to make sure I get out there. Switch to Grant Hill. I'm going to run up the line, and now I have another steal. Double rotation, leading to a turnover, which leads to points. Something you should definitely practice to add to your game. All right, next play. For some reason, Zion falls asleep and leaves Draymond Green running up the court on a fast break. We don't want that, so we have to switch and rotate. We rotate over from Anthony Davis because he's defending Dwight Howard. So I'm not really worried about my opponent giving it to him to shoot the ball, but I do know I'm going to rotate there to take that pass away if he does. So I rotate over from Grant Hill. Another steal downhill, another dunk for Grant Hill. Easy buckets, easy turnovers. All right, next play, we're going to create an illusion once again that the guy on the full court running up is going to be wide open. As soon as the offense decides to make that pass, we're going to be right there to steal it, make it an easy offensive possession for ourselves, and that's just how we like it. But now let's get into some extra baited opponents. We're going to make double rotations, but fake how we're going to do it. It's just going to get crazy. So right here, just like a little bit earlier how we got beat and we're going to get beat to the basket, we switch over and we go to cover the middle. Now, of course, we don't want to be giving up threes. You don't want to be leaving Devin Booker open. We know that, and our opponent also knows that. So this is where we're going to play mind games. We're going to sprint out to him like we're going to contest the shot, and of course he's going to pass it, right? So we sprint out to him, fake like we're going to contest the shot. Now we get back. Cam Reddish is getting back on his man, and we get a steal because we faked like we're going to go take the ball from him or go contest the shot, creating another opportunity for ourselves on offense. So we got creative and we got risky, but we understood it was calculated. We just knew it was going to happen. All right, same thing with this play. You'll be surprised of actually how much this works. So we switch over to Anthony Davis, sprint out like we're going to contest the three, and then he panics and passes it right into my hands as I retreat to the other player. Easy steals, man. I'm telling you. Once again, it happens again. I actually think I switched to the wrong player here, but the same thing. I sprint out to him with AK. He thought the guy in the corner was wide open for some reason, and I'm there for the steal. Another easy pickings, but this can actually even end up in you getting lucky steals. So you're rotating, you're switching over, and then they pass the ball back, and since you have good high interceptor ratings, you're able to get another steal and another fast break bucket. But yo, man, this has been the rotations, the switching, and the baiting defensive tips video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned some new things. Get out there and just start getting a little bit different in your offense, in your defense, throwing some different stuff at your opponents. Keep them uncomfortable. Make sure that you're taking risks, but you're also following all the rules to keep yourself successful in these games so that you can win more unlimited games. Hopefully you guys are starting to understand more of how to play the game in a more competitive style, a more competitive way. This has been another RCA the Great video. Make sure you hit me up in the comments. Let me know what your favorite rotation was. Let me know who you think is going to win the NBA championship, who your favorite NBA player was, whatever you want to say. And make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at EverydayRCA. But until next time, I will catch you in the next video. Peace.